Hello, thank you for tuning in. This is my channel. My name is Ridge, R-I-D-G-E. I am here to tune in and to give messages from the divine, tuning into truth, tuning into self, and I'm learning how to read tarot as kind of like a bridge or a gateway or a portal to being able to receive and speak divine messages. Pretty exciting. I'm just tuning in and learning what it feels like to, there's like a rush when the camera turns on, and noticing where my eyes are going, where my attention is, and now just tuning in with some breathing and closing my eyes. I'm noticing my energy and where I'm resisting, just like being and feeling my body, and then just allowing that and being with it and allowing myself to kind of sink into breathing, feeling my belly, feeling my legs and my feet. Grounding is what they would call that. Okay, I'm beginning with a question today. It's going to be a general reading with the question, what messages does your higher self want you to hear? What messages does your higher self want you to hear? What messages does your higher self want you to hear? We'll begin with the Shadowscapes Tarot. It's quite ethereal. And I'm going to start by clearing it because I did my first readings yesterday. So I did a little bit of shuffling and blessing, but I'm going to go ahead and show how I would clear and reset a deck. It's pretty simple. You just create multiple piles. Whatever number comes up is usually the best. And then you just divide the cards up into multiple piles or containers. I'm doing 6 of them. And just being with the cards and focusing on the feeling. A lot of this for me is about intuitive feeling, so I'm just kind of giving my attention to the cards like I would listen to a friend. And tuning into trusting myself, trusting my connection, and inviting and invoking higher beings of the highest light that can help guide and assist us with this reading. The higher self, to me, is the timeless aspect of one's being. It's the part of us that we can tune into through feeling our body. I believe that we are souls embodied in as people, and so the higher self can be accessed or reached as we feel our body. In massage, we learn about it as the inner physician, that each person has like a navigation system within themselves, and that we can all tune into our own individual truth, and that collectively it will line up to kind of like pieces of a puzzle, to kind of like fit into the right places on higher levels with other people in the world. just continuing to listen. There's like a frenetic, like fiery energy. So I'm just paying attention to it. And I'm breathing that in. I'd say I'm ready to start doing my quick shuffle, just a side shuffle as I contemplate the connection to higher self, first off, which I just discussed kind of what my beliefs are about that. Higher self can also just be tuning into God, tuning into source, tuning into higher power. For me, it's always about the highest good of divine creation, which means that the overall picture for me is creativity, is overall goodness and being a good person, having virtues that are, to me, like things that we work on, that we like to develop, like skills or talents. And we do that through creativity. So, tuning into that higher power, higher source, higher self, what messages does your higher self want you to hear? What messages does your higher self want you to hear? This is a general reading. This is a general reading, meaning I'm open to pretty much a variety of different messages or different topics, and for me that's the easiest way to learn, is to be open to more general messages or general readings. But this specific theme or thread is about tuning into the higher self and to receive messages of wisdom from that feeling or that center. Okay, so that's probably a good place to stop, and if that's where I decide to stop, then it is, because that's what we call into existence by being here. Hopefully I'm making sense to people. The first card we have is the Eight of Wands. This is like the wishing card. This has me thinking about tuning into our inner magic and some of the things that might seem childish, like making wishes. Some of these ideas can be really profound if we bring them into reality, and just realizing that wishes are just desires that we want to see fulfilled in life, that we want to realize or that we want to experience. So just tuning into our desires is a really great anchor point or access point. Learning how to figure out what we really want on a deeper level, on like a productive level. What do we want to create in the world, and what kind of effect do we want to have? How do we want to be seen? How do we want to portray? How do we want to express? What are our wishes? What are our desires? So what do you wish for? What is your wish? And how do you use that energy? For me, a wish is something that I take seriously, but that I am also playful with. But I love the idea of, for example, like wishing on a shooting star, and tapping into that magical feeling and really trusting it and believing it, and not relying on that. Not saying that a shooting star wish will get me through everything, but I can bring it down, like kind of like magic, like with my intention and trusting and believing in it to motivate me. Like, what if I could have my wishes fulfilled? If you could have your wishes fulfilled, what wishes would you create? And then, of course, there's going to be work. How do you go about fulfilling that as well? The second card that comes up is Justice. We are seeing the scales, balance, angelic energy here. Being aware of our value, our worth, and what we deserve. This is a message of just like tuning into what do you actually deserve in life. If someone was to give you a reward for the work that you've done, what would that reward be? What would that look like? What are you working toward? What are you receiving by the work that you're doing in the world? Do you feel valuable? How can you increase the way that you feel? How can you improve the way that you feel about yourself without losing sight of others or without losing sight of giving back to the world. Tuning into self-worth, self-value, and really making sure that it aligns with what's going on and what effort you're putting forth in your work, in your personal life. And seeking balance by tuning into yourself. It does go well with the wish card. Like you can see if your life balances out with what you truly wish, and why. Why would you not deserve that? Or how can you find what you deserve or what you really want? I believe that we don't need to deserve love. We don't need to do anything to deserve feeling loved or being like enveloped in the loving energy. I believe that that's where we come from and that's who we are. And I think that working toward goals is a little bit different than needing to deserve being loved. So there's an inherent value that we have just by being, and then there's value that we build through what we do. And so what is your value and what is your worth inherently on the inner world or inner planes, how you feel about yourself, how you receive yourself, and then what value have you earned in the world through hard work. And then just making sure that that's balanced for yourself. The next card we have is the Knight of Wands. What are you willing to work for, and what are you willing to achieve? The Knight of Wands is a youthful energy, and Wands is about movement and passion. It's like forward thinking. It usually will have like a goal that it's working toward, a quest, or it can be reactive to something that happened or something that it picks up on, kind of instinctive energy moving forward. So what is your instinctive energy like? What are you willing to move forward? What are you capable of achieving in the world? And how have you done that for yourself? What ways have you been successful in moving forward instinctively or intuitively? And are there any areas in your life that you're holding yourself back from moving forward? And why? Why would you be holding yourself back? And there is safety and caution, there's safety in all of this, but this is more about just reflecting on what are you willing to do, what motivates you and what moves you forward in the world, and really tuning into like what that is for you. Does that come from other people, or is that what you really feel in wherever you like to feel, like in your belly or in your heart? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel open? Do you feel full? And where's the movement? Where's the flow? And then how can you direct that? What do you want to achieve? It goes really well with the wishes because we do need action in order to make wishes come true for ourselves. And then the balance would be the caution, making sure that we're tuning into what we truly are capable of before moving forward or as we're moving. And continuing to gain a clarity or a clear vision of who we are energetically as a person, like what we like, what we want, what we desire, and what we're capable of achieving. And then moving forth in the world according to what our truth is. The fourth card here is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, this is kind of like perfecting a craft to me, but it's not practicing anymore. It's not about practicing a new skill as much as it is letting ourselves be seen in skills that we already have, expressing it to the world, the talents and gifts that we've developed. This can be in art, this can be in writing, this can be in music, this can be in many, many creative endeavors. This can also be like starting a new business or starting to network to create a group of friends. It's just a message of identify what you are capable of, what your skills are, what you want to develop, what you want to be seen for, what you'd like to share with other people, and then do it. And then just like show up, and trust that as you show up, you'll be able to perfect your skills, perfect your talents. You'll be able to gather support and attract people to you who will love you and who will support you. And there's a lot of beauty here. So it's a lot of just like creating experiences by showing up in life that support beauty, that support growth, and that resonate and that align with the truth. This wouldn't be, for example, this wouldn't be like showing up for a parent because they want you to do a task. This would be more like, nobody can keep me from doing this because I love it so much, and I'm going to go ahead and start being seen in the world with this gift or talent. Online communities are a really great place for this, but don't forget about your local communities as well. For me, sometimes just getting out of the house more often and like showing up and having people see me out in the world does me good. It like fills up my cup in a certain way. There's balance. I need alone time to recharge, but if I spend too much alone time, I get depleted in a different way where I'm not like interacting with the communities. And then the fifth card is the Nine of Wands. This is about our vision, our philosophy of life, like how do we view things when we look out into the world, and are there any places that we can kind of like change the way that we view, or places we can look we haven't seen before. This reminds me of like sometimes you'll be driving down a road and you've been down that road many times. It's maybe a road that you take often, and you one day look over and see an architectural feature that you never noticed before. It's like brand new, yet you've driven by it over and over. So this is something about opening up our vision and opening up our field to the possibilities that maybe our previous patterns or upbringing has taught us is not okay, or is dangerous, or won't be successful, like any negative thoughts about it from the past. How can we look into those areas so that we're not trapped, and so that we can really figure out what we want in life and have the ability. There's a lot of momentum here to pursue that. Yeah, this is a lot of introspection, a lot of getting to know oneself, befriending oneself. Sometimes it's easy to overlook ourselves, and we are encouraged to not overlook our value and our gifts, to spend time with ourselves and to do things that we love, like kind of like parenting myself is how I see it. But I guess I know how to parent myself because I know how I react and how I respond. But over time, that's just what we learn by tuning into ourselves. Okay, so that's the Shadowscapes Tarot. It's very positive, very independent, autonomous, forward-thinking, and realistic, like grounding that fiery energy into actual action that we can take and things that we can build in the world. Okay, just tuning in and taking a breath here. Continuing to have that question, what messages does your higher self want you to hear? What messages can I deliver that will help you tune into your own higher self, or your own soul, your own gifts, your own ability? I'm going to start with the Medicine Woman Tarot, and I do need to do a reset on this one as well. So I'm just going to probably do 4 piles, and instead of laying the cards down in a single direction, I'm going back and forth. It's good to develop different directions, different techniques and perspectives, and then it helps enhance intuition. You just kind of think of whatever tool you're needing to have. And then you trust that whatever comes into your consciousness is showing up for a reason. Belief and trust is so important. I learned that in massage school. Sometimes you just have to trust what you're feeling and what you're doing and the way you're moving around people. and not intellectualize it too much. You can't tell yourself that you're wrong for massaging a person. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. For using a certain technique. You can't feel like wrong about that. You just have to trust that if that's a technique that I'm using, that's what is coming up. Just take a minute to listen. I felt like a stir of kind of a little bit of chaotic emotion, which makes sense because I'm resetting, so it's kind of like clearing out. The cards to me make energetic structures. Like each one of the cards has a structure, and then when you get cards together, they kind of create this structure together. And the entire deck of cards has its own structure. So as we shuffle them, we're like changing the energetic structure of the cards. And then based on our intuition and our feeling, that's where we get the indications of when to stop and what techniques to use. Also, speaking does me really good. Maybe speaking more would do well for you as well. I did my first videos yesterday and I felt really like my voice and my happiness was flowing in a way that I hadn't recognized before. So I just felt like cheerful and buoyant. And I think that it's developing the communication pathways. So I'm going to be looking for opportunities to speak, like recording myself on videos, and finding other ideas of ways that I can maybe like do a podcast as I become more comfortable and become more strong in my presence and my voice. So I'm contemplating a lot of possibilities. I'm just going to do one more reset here with 5 cards. And I'm thinking about unification, like when there's all these different like ideas or tangents, and we just take a breath and bring everything in to our body and trust the energetic field around us. I always call in a lot of safety and protection as well. But at the same time, I trust like what my energetic field processes and how it'll unify and bring things into wholeness. And then kind of like what's not needed will separate and not always be there. There's a lot of clearing energy being discussed. Yeah, this one feels like groups of people talking right now, like collaborating and cooperating. There's a lot of chatter and hubbub. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust your gifts? Do you trust yourself? That's the first thing that came up as I put everything together here is like, do you trust yourself? In what ways do you trust yourself and your experiences? And in what ways are you afraid to let yourself do certain things? Just an introspection, kind of like reflection. It has me thinking like sometimes I'll say something and then later on, after a few days, I might have changed my mind. And I'm just learning it's okay to change my mind, and it's okay to trust myself and the decisions that I've made previously. So we're, again, finding balance in how we're relating to our own actions and our own experiences. What messages does your higher self want you to hear right now? What messages does your higher self want you to hear right now? We're just going to do a quick 3-card reading. Doesn't have to be too complex. Why are you trying to do everything alone when there are people around you who are willing to help you? And that if you work with other people strategically, like you focus on yourself, that you can get to goals that you didn't even know existed, that you can't even see. The first card is a woman standing on a hill overlooking the waters, and this it came in as like, why are you only doing it alone? But the truth is that this is a really great card of like confidence, independence, adventure. So in the first card in the series, that's where the focus is here. You've been focusing on yourself, you've been developing your gifts, you feel more confident about yourself, you have a better vision and a better overlook of what you want to achieve. But the second card in this reading is the Ten of Arrows. So in the beginning, here's this confidence and independence of self. And then this is a reminder saying, what about community? What about when you get together, like this vision is great, what could you do if you join that vision with other people? And that's kind of like what the holding hands and praying to me is like we each have our own vision, we focus on our vision, on ourselves, on whatever's going on for us, and then we connect with other people. And then what I like here is the Nine of Bowls has two people working toward a similar goal. And then on the island, you can see people dancing on the island there. And so it's reiterating, like, if you do it alone, yeah, you have a vision, but if you work with other people, you can get closer to that vision and you can see even more detail about what you might want to achieve or what you might want to do in life. A lot of synergistic energy. So congratulate yourself and reward yourself for developing more confidence in your expression or in who you are or in your gifts or skills. And now it's time to open up to figure out how to collaborate with other people, how to invite friends with similar interests, how to attract people who could be co-workers or collaborators with your projects. Maybe working with family members that you only talk to every now and again, or recognizing maybe neighbors or community members near where you work could help you create a vision. I'm seeing be open to people around you in a trusting way, safely. So just by being open to people and being open to conversation, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, I don't know how it works for you. For some people, being open means just showing up, and maybe you're an introvert that extroverts can approach. Or maybe if you're an extrovert, it means just engaging in more conversation with people that you might not always talk to all the time. But being open, being curious to be able to, maybe they're not going to collaborate with you directly, but maybe they'll have ideas that will help you. Maybe they'll have little like clues or hints or insights that could progress you along your path or to help you see things better. And then within the community of people that surround and support you, there will be certain people that you probably work more directly with on specific goals. And the first card, it doesn't have a boat at all. And then there's a boat over here. So maybe someone has resources or tools that can help you directly, that you can work together to achieve better goals. Okay, so focus on yourself, continue that path, and focus on the world around you, on other people. How can you help other people, and how can you collaborate with other people, and how can you ask for help? How can you receive help and support from others? It's going to be important. Okay, those are the messages for today. Oh, we have a card. Oh, hey, this is great. So we'll finish with this. This is the Medicine Woman version of the Tower, and it's called the Shield. Instead of focusing on an experience coming in and kind of like chaotically shaking things up, this is focused on the power and strength of defense and protection. There's a phoenix image, so like kind of a spiritual bird in the background with an eagle, kind of nesting a turtle and a flower in the center. So there's a force and a strength with protecting and holding one's own and trusting those fears or those negativities as indications of maybe like places to avoid or places to work on. But within all of our optimism and motivation to do things and to create, we also need guidance and protection and help and support. and we need to trust our intuition. So yeah, keep yourself safe, and don't be afraid to ask for help as needed, so that you're not overwhelmed by anxiety, is essentially what that is. Even if that's like energetic help, a lot of times I just call in energetic support and higher beings of highest good or highest light, and I feel more confident, I believe that, and so that's the energy that it is, and that's the energy that I attract. So we want experiences, we want adventure, but we want safe experiences and adventure that aligns with our truth. Okay, thank you for tuning in. That's the first video of day 2 of doing this. I look forward to continuing to learn about readings and continuing to share. If what I am talking about resonates with you, feel free to tune in and to subscribe and to like and support. And I will see you in another video, hopefully.